Mr. Durga Prasad Kakaraparthi will now take the stage and talk about building the tomorrow's workforce. He's the manager of solutions architecture at Amazon Web Services.
So for those who do not know what the AWS is, AWS is Amazon Web Services. We are one of the hyperscale cloud service providers. Within India, we are MITM panel, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, panel cloud service can do the business and host their workloads on us, right? So about there are so many programs that AWS and the education institutions, particularly within India and across the globe, are working in building the skill set, building that capabilities that are required for the industry requires. So we'll talk about this, but before that, let me just set the context, at least from a education point of view. AWS has more than 1 million of customers, active customers every month, and there are about 10,000 education institutions across the globe. There could be K-12, there could be higher education, there could be edtech startups which are part of these, and all kinds of innovations go into those. There could be a university who wants to completely move on to AWS, and as far as the campus management solutions are concerned, or the online learning is concerned, or off-campus expansion is concerned, or it could be about improving their student engagement with some advanced services, or particularly in the higher education, we have seen several customers, especially in that R1 institutes, which are like Stanford or US Berkeley, Cornell universities. The 96% of those doctoral universities with the highest research activity across the world use AWS to accelerate the research. So within India, we have organizations like institutions like Indian Institute of Science, IIT Kharagpur, IIT BU, and so many others are there. We'll just talk about some of them before we jump onto the workforce one. So why customers are actually using AWS? One, of course, because it brings that agility where you would be able to quickly respond to your needs, whether it is about huge admission timeline that is coming up every year or twice in a year for certain colleges or universities, or it could be about test preparations or exam boards, or it could be an edtech startup who wants to drive millions of their subscribers, whether it's a B2B or B2C, driving the online content like Byju's or so many other customers that we have from a tech point of view. So from an education point of view, so because these customers are actually using new ways of doing or building solutions, they're always looking for this cutting edge technology to be able to build those. And the skills required for that the supply is always going to be very, very less. So AWS Educate is one of those initiatives. The global initiative is run by AWS across the globe and within India as well. There are so far 2,400 institutions across the globe, and there are hundreds of thousands of students enrolled into it. By enrolling the student, he or she will have access to they will have the promotional credits for them to be able to try new things, learn cloud computing skills, and two, they'll also have this open source curated online learning built by both AWS and some of the professors in the industry or in the education institutions, building this content which is useful for their labs and understanding them, and at the end the job portal as well. If they are completing their academic education, they can move on to it. So I'm going to just talk about few of those examples within India, particularly within southern India, now that we are having it in Bangalore. So there are 12 career pathways as part of it. One could be a cloud labs for AI, robotics, or IoT, or big data, so on and so forth. I think Asma called that out about what are those emerging technologies that are revolutionizing the businesses today. IIT Kharagpur is one of those examples where they adopted AWS Educate to bring the artificial intelligence and AI learning into the students so that there is actually be able to apply their learning into our practicals. Not only these individual institutions, the skill development corporations like TASK, Telangana Academy of Knowledge and Skill and Knowledge, on behalf of all the other engineering institutions, there are 120 odd institutions, engineering colleges within Telangana state. So TASK actually works as part of this AWS Educate program, helping to bring this program to all the institutions and then eventually to the students. We also have APSSDC, we have MKCL, and we have one more which will come up. IIT Boo, for example, slightly took it in a different way, where they actually build the cloud research lab, where it's not only for the AI, but they can actually do a lot more beyond AI for the students, and then students can learn as part of it. This is one more example of Karnataka in the Center of Excellence for Computer Science, where they actually bring in the cloud literacy and foundation program as part of this cybersecurity program across the state of Karnataka. So there are many more examples. We will skip those later. This is one more testament of the demand which is there as of today. These are not the skills required for the tomorrow. These are the skills required for today. As we speak, the technologies which are mentioned there was AI or AR, VR, or blockchain, or drones, or robotics, IoT. Customers have implemented these and actually been expanded into large varieties, whether it is the e-commerce, retail, finance, or even the governments. As we speak, I know that some of the government, because I work with government departments within India, they work on drones, they work on robotics, they work on IoT, they work on even AR and VR. We typically think it's primarily for some of those retail or real estate or for some of the very niche industries, but even government is evaluating AR, VR as of today, and then trying to see where they can actually integrate these. So very important technologies, I think even Asma called out, and from gentlemen from Coursera also called out. So what is the relevance here from an AWS point of view? So just want to give you context. AWS or Amazon Web Services is part of a larger parent company called Amazon.com, which is one of those larger players in the e-commerce retail space. So supporting these large e-commerce portals across the globe in multiple countries, we actually gained the experience of building those resilient data centers and maintaining those infrastructures for our customers to be able to build their innovation and innovative solutions on top of the platform. So we take the experiences of what Amazon has been doing and we pass them on to it on top of what we hear from the customer, and we build that, we work backward from the customer. So what are the principles that we carry as part of the retail industry? We kind of carry that and apply it into IT to see how quickly we can actually innovate, how quickly we can actually pass our learnings to our end customers, whether it could be an institution, or it could be a student, or it could be any other industry that is looking for one. So one such example is, this is we call Kiva Robots, which are part of our large fulfillment centers. They're nothing but the warehouses where we host, as part of the Amazon, we have all these items. If you ever use any of these portals like Flipkart or Amazon, when you click on place an order, the time it takes for you to click on an order to the time that you get the package, the delivery time, the entire process, every single step, there is an opportunity for you to reduce, and companies and organizations are looking at reducing that time. Even if it is a 1 second reduction, it significantly increases the cost savings and increases your value proposition to the end customer. So the Kiva Robots actually enabled with this computer vision and navigation, robotics, combined all together without any human being walking on the floor, they can actually bring those respective items which you ordered to the respective place so that the packager or the delivery person can be able to package it and send it across to you. Now the same technology, we actually took that, which has been there for the last 15, 20 years that we've been doing it, and to make it as a service or make it as something that you as end customers, whether it's in education or non-profit or government or any other industry, can reuse them. But case in example, I'll just give you one of these. For example, this is called Deep Lens on the left-hand side, which is a Handycam one. It's one of the very first Handycam camera, which has got the machine learning, deep learning modules are actually embedded as part of it. So you can do your object detection and facial recognition with just one device, rather than having this high-performance computing running at the back end. The other side, what you see is that a deep racer, which is like a 1/18th scale of a race car. It is actually primarily used for this autonomous car simulation that you want to do, any reinforcement learning models that you want to do as part of your artificial intelligence frameworks and algorithms. You can actually use this small tiny car in a physical small space to be able to experiment and test and see how the simulations work, how it actually works. So it actually brings your research cost, if you are part of a higher education university, towards much smaller. In fact, I'll go one step further. We actually have this something called the robotic operating system, ROS. Amazon is actually founding member of that particular ROS operating system, where we release a ROS 2, which has got the cloud extensions, which means the ROS 2 can be deployed onto one of those Raspberry Pis, and then you, because of the cloud extensions, what are the capabilities that it has, or the AI services on the cloud, you can easily attach them to your robot. So your robot will have more intelligence coming in there, utilizing that, and then be able to interact and do much more efficiency without having much effort from your side. Okay, so this is one more interesting one from the industry, where talking about big data and analytics, you all know about Formula 1, right? There are 500 million fans across the globe, and how many of them actually visit and actually watch the game at the track? Very, very few. So most of these bodies, like sports bodies like BCCL or IPL or NFL or Formula 1, is to how do I engage the fans and excite them and be able to continue to do it when you have ever-changing technology coming in there. So Formula 1 uses AWS at the back end, it's something called Amazon SageMaker, where they actually use that to be able to use the historical data and use the racetrack performance, and they actually apply, for each race car has 120 sensors. Every second, there's a 3 GB of data that goes out of this car, and in a split second, it should be able to combine this analytics and be able to display that back to your fans on the audience on the different probabilities. What is the probability of this car overtaking it? What is the probability of doing the performance or winning probability? All those kind of things, you should be able to do it much, much quickly. So Formula 1 has done that. So in fact, I'm going to give you a small video of it, which is, it's a National Football League, which is one of the biggest sports in US, not in India, of course. They also use Amazon SageMaker in the back end, and if you see the video, they have these sensors in all those shoulders in every place. So when they throw the ball, it actually kind of detects as to how fast this is going, and what is the probability that touchdown is going to happen, what is the completion probability, and you would see that there is a very difficult catch that one player is able to make it happen, and you sitting here at the end would not be able to see it. First, let me play this video, and then I'll come back.
34. Super Bowl 52. As time ran down in the first, Nick Foles was about to complete one of the most improbable plays of the game. With each tick of the clock, AI from Amazon Web Services processed thousands of data points to generate real-time insights, proving that a 19% chance was all Foles needed to change the course of history. Welcome to the next generation of football.
It's the same game, but there is a new way of looking at it. There is a new excitement that the fans have. There is a new reason why, I hate to say, but to switch on the TV and stick to the TV, right? But these are all required for, as far as the organization is concerned, how they're actually innovating it. Look at that, 19.48 probability was there that you could actually make a touchdown for the player, which means very, very difficult shot. Had that, the data points were not there displaying, you're probably sitting here, I'm probably sitting here judging him, he actually missed it. So now I actually have a more respect for the player in that difficult situation because I was not there. So those are the interesting things that you can actually come up with, whether it's a big data or analytics or with the machine learning and SageMaker ones. The other one is VR and AR. I think it's been there for quite long, but the cloud actually brings and simplifies this much, much faster, because every time that you actually think of something on a AR, VR, you require a lot of investments and costs involved to be able to set up something, hoping that it will actually help your students or your organization to be able to happen. But having it on as a service where you can actually test it, your experiments are going to be faster, your failures are going to be faster, you learn faster, and then you actually apply that back there. So with the same amount of research fund that you have, you probably would have more experiments, more failures or less failures, and more learnings, and then there are higher chances of getting into something that you are expecting into it. So whether it could be building a concierge, or it's building a librarian for your own university, or it could be about building a product that is completely different for a different industry altogether, like real estate, who is actually looking at the campus tour or apartment tour or a flat, whichever it is, while you're sitting there on your mobile phone. Okay, so this is one of the examples from one of the schools in Maharashtra. It's actually pulled out from a Your Story link. Basically, it has it's about voice. You all know about this Siri on iOS platform, and OK Google on Android platform, Cortana on Windows OS operating system, and Alexa. We have devices that some of you may know, that everybody using it in different ways. So and this school actually found its own way of how we can engage the students to be able to do it. My daughter spends more time with the Alexa asking the question, because I don't respond, because of my mood varies every now and then. So there are new generation of people who are actually talking to them and in different ways, and giving the same content in the different modes based on the learning, the new learnings that people are adopting to is also essential in the new age that's coming in. In fact, on the higher ed education, I'm going to just play one more video about how one of those universities in Arizona, I think, California, sorry, St. Louis University, built a campus management solution for it.
Okay. Make sure you get out there and do some of the stuff on campus.
I will. Alexa, ask Slew what's happening on campus tonight. Ask Slew who the Billikens are playing tonight. Ask Slew where the student center is. Alexa, call Mom. Is Quizify even a real word? Ask Lou when the library opens. Alexa.
Yes.
Ask Lou when student health opens. Alexa, where can I order pizza from? How long can pizza stay out? Play a guided meditation. What's the atomic weight of mercury? Ask Slew to call career services. Ask Slew how I changed my address. Alexa, ask Slew what time commencement starts today.
The 2022 commencement ceremony starts at 9 a.m. Congratulations, Billiken.
So, yeah, so it could be, one of the ways that you can actually talk to the ones when your new age students are actually talking and leveraging new technology. There are all kinds of ways. Nobody expected that we would have our entire learning content coming on a mobile device. Today, the test preparation is available on mobile device before you're actually going into it. Your exam boards are actually preparing to make your website adaptable to your all kind of screens are available there in that. So those are all really important as you go further down. One, we can actually say, yes, I think that's something not really workable, but something that's, there is a different section of the team actually going up on that. So, and then on the media recognition technology, because there is a, 3 minutes, because there is a voice. There is a okay. There's a facial recognition and object detection. All these are available today. They're actually applicable in the right use cases, like in the medical, or in missing children, or finding someone who is a person of the interest. In fact, this is about looking at the body blood fluids, able to detect about your heart conditions. And they're also about looking at the retina on an X-ray to be able to figure out what is the stage of the diabetes, early stages of it, to be able to detect it. So, and then we have the NASA actually has been using AWS because they send this Mars Curiosity to the space, and then when it's sending the pictures back, they actually use AWS to be able to host those pictures, so to be able to communicate back to all the audiences in the across the globe. And this content exploration technology, we might have used the Amazon Music or Amazon Prime. These are the ones which are actually growing well in terms of if you have a lecture or if you have a learning management solution or content management solution, while content itself is important, delivery of it is also as important as the content. And delivery, making it available, making it easier, finding it easier. If today the average span, the Disney actually was saying, looking at the Netflix disruption, they said the average attention span of someone who's actually watching the content is 30 seconds. If you're not able to impress the gentleman or a person within 30 seconds, they'll switch to the next one. That's how it is. And in the schools and colleges, the attention span of the students is probably about 5 to 7 minutes. And I think you are better about how actually you can engage the students within the classroom and all. So this is one more way looking at online learning, how it can be done. There are so many other services which you can actually figure it out to be able to make it happen. I'll just ignore that for now because of the time. As I said, there are 96% of the doctoral universities with very high research activity are using AWS. Even in India, as I said, IIT Kharagpur, IIT BU, Indian Institute of Science, some of them are actually using AWS to be able to do it. This is something that I want to really talk about. This is about, we have this open data platform, a petabyte scale open data platform available where the Landsat satellite planetary images are available for anybody to do any research free of cost. They can actually access these because it's open data. And there is a Sentinel-1, Sentinel-2, Digital Globe, which is one of the largest commercial satellite providers, sends their data and make them available for any researchers to be able to access them. We, AWS, have a program called Cloud Research for Cloud Research Program, where if there is a research institution is doing some kind of research and using this open data, you can send a proposal, somebody will look at it at the back end, and if they like the proposal, they might as well support you in that. So with that, while we are part of Amazon with the culture, with the technology builders, while we are e-commerce platform, but we're also largely on the technology, that AWS is actually as part of it. And customers like Byju's or Stanford or the partners and Blackboard are all using, in fact, Coursera uses AWS, and all this come there. So AWS Educate is actually the industry, while it is using the AWS with the innovations, the AWS Educate is actually able to leverage that and then build that skill accordingly in that. So with that, I want to thank you.